Has Mildred Birdsong, D. Michelle Birdsong. When I was doing the Gurinder Singh Identities, I neglected to mention that he had projected himself as Michael Bolton and Frankie Valli. Okay, up here I changed the wedding collage to married couples. I added Prince Louis is Mother Teresa Reborn. I also added President George Bush and Laura Bush posing with Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, and President Dwight David Eisenhower was Gurinder Singh posing with his wife and Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. I removed most of the pictures of Melissa Percy because they divorced. I added a picture of Andra and Jeff Johnson, who's wearing the Make America Great Again gown. I added pictures of Gurinder Singh and Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, D. Michelle Birdsong, and Adam, Michael Bublé. These are her husbands. He was her husband in the first century, and he was her husband. No, not the first century, in the garden. And he was her husband in the first century, Jesus Christ, Mary Magdalene. I added pictures of Queen Victoria because this was Queen Victoria, and I thought this was Queen Victoria. And Robin, who was Queen Victoria, told me that's Queen Victoria's daughter, who was Megan, wearing Robin's dress. Robin had envisioned wearing this dress, and then she showed up with the dress at the funeral. I think that's all I added. Okay. Now, here we have the cover of a book, How to Mainstream Yourself, American Exceptionalism. That's Captain Devin Gangadine, who was Cain in the garden, husband of A1. This is Michelle Birdsong, the Michelle Birdsong, sing Birdsong at her graduation, and Sylvia Birdsong, who was his wife, Cynthia Harris, Allen, who was married to Don Early Allen, and this is Nancy Bush Gross, who was, these were supposed to be her friends. This is Eve's husband in a previous life, war hero, Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, who was a congressional. He was a congressman, then his re-election bid, he was cheated out of it. I hope that's fixed. This is Sing Birdsong and Rick Kelly, who made this guitar out of wood, 100-year-old wood Sing had gotten from the tenement he lived in, and gave it to Rick, who made two guitars. This is D. Michelle Birdsong posing with a t-shirt with Sing and Jandara on it. Mainstream inclusive t-shirt, office hat she's wearing, with Jay Chen, her husband during the Ming Dynasty. It's a copy of the book Sneezes a Greasy Baby, says Abigail, and a t-shirt with Sing strumming the guitar. This picture, Sing Birdsong playing the guitar. This is a picture of D. Michelle Birdsong when she was an airline stewardess, and another airline stewardess, and Vicky Gallen, her roommate. They're standing in the doorway of a 727, I think it is. This is the name of a video, Eve Best of Rothschild's Loan Sharks. Okay, she did that. Men had their turn, it's woman's turn, starting from scratch, said Jesus Christ, the Buddha, Gurinder Singh Dylan. And the white man's burden was the fake Jewish revolutionary spirit. This is a book everybody should read, telling how the fake Jews who call themselves Jews have disrupted the society again and again with abortion, with contraceptive, with gay marriage, with, you know, and on and on. The video, you bought the ticket to that show she made when she was homeless in San Francisco. Angela, another homeless girl, filmed the video. She's doing a rap. Talk and Share Method of Overcoming Grief. Ebook by Michelle Birdsong. This is a cure for most mental illnesses. Okay, up here's the sun, God, and this is the Michelle Birdsong, who was Archangel Michelle, daughter of the sun. She was Guru Nanak. She was Tesla. They put the statue in Silicon Valley where they give free Wi-Fi in honor of Tesla, who wanted to give free electricity to the world, and he was making a tower that would have done that when J. Pierpont Morgan, who was George Soros, withdrew funding, so it couldn't be done because he couldn't make money off of it. This is the Michelle Birdsong with Sherlock Holmes, and she's uncovered all these clues as to the identities of all these people. She was Socrates, who they put to death because he was red-pilling the youth, meaning he was telling them the truth. She was Henry Ford, who changed the world and made America a car nation. He wrote a series of letters to his own newspaper in Dearborn, Michigan, warning the world about the Jews, the fake Jews, and how they were running the world. She was William Shakespeare. She was Albert Einstein projected. She was Eve in the Garden of Eden. She was Venus. She was Ayn Rand, who wrote Atlas Shrugged. She was Ralph Waldo Emerson, a transcendentalist, a philosopher, a lecturer, a poet, an American essayist. And he was one of the founders of the transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. He was seen as a champion of individualism and a present critic of the countervailing pressures of prevailing thought. This is Venus. She was the goddess Venus. Here she was as Gertrude Stern. She wore many hats. The hat vendors from Kenya, working hard out there in his own business. These are American-made hats. Okay, she was Marian Anderson, the opera diva, at a time when colored people only sang the blues. She was singing opera. She was the Virgin Queen, Elizabeth I, genius of the Golden Age, Queen of England. She was married to Rear Admiral Richard Byrd, who discovered the South Pole and the North Pole. She was married to Michael Bublé when he was Adam and she was Eve. Michael Bublé was Frank Sinatra. He was Elvis Presley. There's Elvis. He was George Harrison, the Beatle, who was a spiritual Beatle. He was Ray Charles, who sang country music. Jesse Belvin, favorite singer of Edwin Birdsong and Stevie Wonder. He projected himself as Michael Jackson. He was Sam Cooke, a projection of Sam Cooke. And here is Michael Bublé featuring Bryan Adams singing After All. Celebration. Okay, over here we have God, the Sun, and the sign of God, Govinda Singh, and a projection of Jesus Christ, sing Birdsong. And these are the Masters of Samart at the Dera in India, designed by Salwan Singh Michael John Spear. This is D. Michelle Birdsong, father. She was immaculately conceived with Reverend Dr. Wilbur Daniel, who was Daniel in the Lion's Den, who desegregated Austin P. College in Clarksville, Tennessee, the graduate school of it, where her mother, a valedictorian and beauty queen, wanted to go, but she couldn't attend because she was colored, even though she looked mostly white. D. Michelle Birdsong was a peacemaker who had a speech impediment, so she hooked up with Hiawatha. They became friends. This is Hiawatha, Ostara Gloria, St. Kabir. And Hiawatha spoke the peacemaker's ideas, and they united 5 Indian tribes, American Indian tribes, into the Iroquois nation. Then Michelle Birdsong was Sarah, Abraham's wife in the Bible, and Isaac's mother. This is Isaac, Paul Joseph Watson. This is Abraham, Tommy Robbins, who had a new book called Muhammad's Quran. He interpreted the Quran. She was Pocahontas, D. Michelle Birdsong was. She married John Rolfe, a tobacco who started importing or exporting tobacco, and he is reborn as Stephen Crowder. D. Michelle Birdsong's mother's name was Corinne Beatrice Crowder. Will Smith for president. Will Smith was Seth, Adam and Eve's third and perfect son. This is Seth taking care of some little children. This is Paul Anka, who was a projection of Gurinder Singh. Gurinder Singh was D. Michelle Birdsong's brother when he was Archangel Gabriel, and she was Archangel Michael, turned into Archangel Michelle by the sun. And Paul Anka singing You're Having My Baby with Odia Coates, because Gurinder Singh and D. Michelle are having a baby, immaculately conceived. And D. Michelle and the son, her father, are having a baby, Giancarlo Arturo, immaculately conceived. And Michael Bublé is to be the father, because the son obviously has to continue working, giving us light and heat and food. And the baby she's having with Jesus Christ is Aria Elizabeth Michelle. D. Michelle Birdsong was Queen of Spain, Isabella, who funded the founding of America. There would be no America without the explorer Christopher Columbus and Queen Isabella funding him. D. Michelle Birdsong was Mary Magdalene, Jesus Christ's wife during the 1st century. D. Michelle Birdsong was Beethoven, the structure genius. He was a genius at structuring songs. And here's some pictures of the babies and pictures of her when she was Marilyn Monroe Energy. She was married to Abraham Lincoln, Tony Robbins. She was the muse at this celebration at St. Francis of Assisi. You see the band in the background. And she was studying in the backyard Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. She was, when he was Dr. Carl Jung, she was Emma Young, his wife, when he was